Jury Duty presents Company Retreat. It's my pleasure to introduce you to the executive producers, Jake Szymanski, Nick Hatton, and Todd Schulman. No, come on, guys. I know it's Sunday. Make some noise. Before we begin, here's your look at Company Retreat.
Hello, my name's Anthony Norman. I'm here at... Sorry.
You can do it again.
Okay. Rockin' Grandmama, sorry. This is my first day here. I'm basically here to do whatever they need me to do.
We got sales, customer relations.
You wanna try this? It's wasabi octopus.
It's okay, I appreciate it.
This is our CEO.
Dougie's office soon. My son is going to be the new CEO, and he is going to be great.
I've only been back for 6 months. I lived in Jamaica for 4 years.
In Jamaica, we said.
Don't do that.
We're about to go on our big retreat.
Yep.
And that's what you're helping out with here.
We have got team building, fantastic motivational speakers.
God, kill me!
And then not to mention the Rockin' Grandma's Talent Contest.
ASMR.
I work remote, but Doug's last retreat before he dies.
No, he's not sick. He's retiring.
Not because he's dying? No. Well, that's good.
Someone has filed an anonymous complaint with HR. I anonymously made the complaint.
It's not anonymous anymore.
Okay.
I have come to the decision to explore the sale of Rockin' Grandma's to the good people of Trucas.
We are here to introduce ourselves and see if it's a match.
It's just weird to have that many redheads in one place.
If they think they can just come in and do whatever they feel like they want to do, they're in for a rude awakening. I care about y'all. This is a family.
Show them who we are. Yeah. Grandma's, baby.
Get up. I really feel like I'm on a TV show, but this is not something that you can just make up.
Let's go!
People think this job was handed to me, and I'm just excited to prove that it's not like a hand job, it's an earned job. Just looking forward to proving that.
By the sound of this crowd is exactly the reason why these shows have been such a big hit, you guys. Congratulations.
Thank
You did it again. You were able to find another gem of a human being to fall for your lies.
Anthony is an incredible dude. We're very, very happy and lucky to find him.
What can you share as far as it takes a very particular person you had Anthony this season, you had Ronald in season 1. They're very particular people that would make to be good in this role. What is it that you guys look for?
I think we want someone who, when we talk about it internally, someone who kind of reflects what we all hope we'd be given this situation and opportunity, which is, our best possible selves. So we're trying to find someone who's kind of seems like they're secure in who they are. They're kind of have a good sense of self, but also, has a big heart, comfortable in any situation. And then there's this kind of X factor where we all kind of sit around and go who do we want to spend the next 2 weeks secretly watching? And, both Anthony and Ronald, I think both exceeded our expectations in terms of just, how incredible they were in these situations.
And also someone you hope that when they come out of it, enjoy the experience and really appreciate it and the surprise party that we've thrown for them that they didn't realize we were doing the whole time, essentially.
That's a big part of it, too.
Yeah, because the reaction can go anyway. You're following the journey and you guys have scripted things to a certain extent, but you can never plan what this person is going to be like. So you got to consider how they're going to react when they find out that they've been part of a TV show, right?
Yeah, and I think that's part of our responsibility as far as a duty of care as well. We see people in the casting process that we go, oh, they'd probably interact with this character fantastically, or they'd probably be really funny, but I don't know if this is going to be their favorite thing in the world. And even if we think they'd be good for the scenes of the show, then we won't select them.
And even if we sort of have, because of the way that we make the show and the hero signs the release before they start filming with us, even after we're all said and done and we make it, if they don't want to be the hero of the show, then there is no show for us to make, because that's not the spirit that we've made it in. So we really want them to, at the end of it, to have been like, okay, this was insane and mad, but I'm glad to have been a part of it, and I appreciate this moment in my life, essentially.
Yeah.
Luckily, both times they've been like, awesome, I'm out.
You've been lucky. So
we might have to go to Amazon and be like, sorry about, thanks for all the money, but we don't have a show. But
yes, so if you got to the end and the person reacted not so well, you'd have to scrap the whole thing?
well, I wouldn't want to watch that, you know.
No, of course, but
it changed the
wow.
entire tenor of the experience. And I think that's something for the way the audiences are able to enjoy it, is because I think they sense that our hero is getting something out of this experience as well. And then when they get to the end, it's like, oh, there's a sense of relief, ultimately, that they had a good time. Because if they didn't, then I think everyone would feel not great about that as a viewer.
A surprise birthday party really is kind of like the best way to describe it, in the sense of if you've ever been through that or have a friend who's been through it and they love the surprise, hopefully, and then they go, wait a minute, so your parents aren't in town visiting? You were free for a hike today? You know, that they have to go through their day of why no one could get together with them and the small white lies. It's kind of a big version of that, but we're trying to do this, pick the right person and do it in a way where everyone kind of revels in the fact of putting it all together and realizing that this was all a positive thing to celebrate them.
What can you guys share as far as like behind the scenes and these friendships that are blossoming? Because this cast was so emotional at the end after the big reveal. There was tears over these bonds that have been made, and I feel like some may even feel bad that they were kind of lying throughout the process. But what can you share as far as seeing the things that are blossoming behind the scenes?
It's all completely authentic and very real. And you have to keep in mind that, we present a very cut down experience of what the cast and what Anthony go through. They're there, it's over a couple of weeks essentially. And we see these half-hour versions, but they are spending all hours of the day together. They eat together. I was about to say they sleep together. They don't sleep together. That'd be a different
That would be
show.
real bonding, yeah.
But ultimately, they are sincerely making friendships, both with each other as actors in terms of their rehearsal period as well, and then once Anthony gets introduced to it. So that moment of reveal, it's really significant and really impactful, because there is a genuine mutual love there. And they just want this experience to be as beautiful as possible for Anthony. And there's a tension there, because like you said earlier, you don't know exactly how it's going to go. So there's tremendous anticipation, essentially. And then, once Anthony receives it in the way that we hoped he would, you see that incredible release.
Did you want to add something?
Well, I was just going to say, it's such an immersive experience for our actors. Yeah. Like, they do such an incredible job. It's a really hard job for our actors. But part of that is we try to cast to who the written characters are. But then once we find a person that's really exciting for the role, we then try to incorporate a lot of who they are or what their strengths are. And so a lot of what ends up in the final cut of the episodes is kind of like what gets pushed to its wildest moments or the most outlandish parts of the character. But 90% of the character, we incorporate a lot of who the actor is when we can. And so a lot of the off moments, a lot of the down moments where they're just talking and catching up, they put a ton of their real life into it, which ultimately makes the casting process harder, because you have to find the right people in that sense as well. But that's the reason why the connections become so real and deep. And they all still talk and text and are friends.
Well, I would feel like less upset if I knew at least that the people that I was bonding with were telling me really about themselves.
Well, yeah, I'll also say, like, this is something we kind of discovered when we did the first season of the show, which is when we started putting it together, we had this idea for some of these characters to be like kind of jerks and really unlikable. And then you realize, like, you can't ask someone to be a jerk and unlikable when you're putting 90% of yourself into it, and being yourself all the time. So when you watch the show, you're never really, we have Trucus in this season who are the bad guys, but they're not with Anthony 24/7 in the same way. For everyone else you've ever seen in the 2 seasons of the show, they're playing people that you like to be around for the most part.
And these people were all playing like they had been working together for some time, and so you were able this season for people to be more personable. Like, there was a lot more personal relationships. Just from the beginning, we were talking earlier about the engagement part that you opened with. It was so cringe. And there's so many moments, and things got a little bit raunchy too, because this is a company retreat, right? What happens in the company retreat stays in the company retreat.
I don't know how you do it at Deadline, but I've never heard that phrase applied to company retreats. I think actually HR deals with if it happens at a company retreat. But
Well, the show is made. It's fully union compliant in that it's a SAG show, it's DGA, it's IA, it's WGA, it's all those things. But we have to make it in this so we make it within the sandbox of all those things. And I'm bringing that up because having an intimacy coordinator, when you're not able to sort of step in and do all that work, because obviously once we go live, we go live. There's no cuts, there's no takes. It's a real thing. And so finding the moment for Rob Lathan and Emily Pendergast to have a conversation with the intimacy coordinator, and then essentially stuffing the intimacy coordinator into a box with the rest of us, and then kind of watching from a distance about how the making out is going on. Does everything seem fine?
And we keep looking at the intimacy coordinator going like, that okay? That seems good, right? Yeah, I can tell them to do a little more, right? That's okay? Yeah, okay, let's do it.
And the hand signals like, this is fine, this is not so fine.
The actress was saying in the there's like an episode where you hear the comments of how everything is put together. She was like, I was talking into his mouth.
She's passing direction onto Rob. She had an earwig in, her hair covered it and hid it, so I could speak to her, and then she was, making out with Rob, and then would, in his mouth go, he's coming right now, Jake says to keep going, he's about to come around the corner, keep kissing me, and that's how we would pass on direction.
That makes the scene even funnier, to be honest. I'm very fascinated with the writing on the show because there's only so much that you can prepare for, which obviously the actors can go by, but things are going to change based on, how your guy is going to react to things. So how on the fly is it that the writers are having to change and adjust based on his reactions?
Constantly, it's a live experience. But we have a really thorough and robust writers' room in advance. We really do plan it out as much as we can. We might not have full sort of 34-page scripts, but they are 20-ish pages long, just everything except for dialogue essentially. And we've been very fortunate over 2 seasons that for the most part it's kind of like bowling with the bumpers up for the most part, which is we kind of want to guide the ball towards the pins and we have a nudge here or there, but the way we set the process up, it's kind of we get what we want out of it. And unfortunately, during the rehearsal period, Jake works very diligently with the actors to figure out, okay, if you can't get him there with the first prompt, what's a second way that you can guide them to where you want to be? And on both seasons, we've kind of gotten what we wanted, unbelievably, which is as much skill and also a tremendous amount of luck, frankly.
Would you say that this second time around, it was harder to keep things a secret than the first time?
It was certainly a bigger production this time around, but I don't know if it was harder to keep it a secret. Our cast and crew, I think season 1 being out made it easier for the cast and crew to know the stakes of what we were doing. So interestingly, I think people this time around were even more buttoned up, and it wasn't hard to convince them of why we had to keep it a secret.
Yeah, this usually when you talk about secrets in Hollywood, it's kind of like, we don't want to spoil what's going to happen in the Marvel movie, but our show existentially can only exist if people don't know it's in production. And so I think the cast and crew feel that weight and that responsibility, and it's the kind of show you can only make if everyone's fully in on it. And luckily we've both times had a cast and crew that totally got that. And yeah, there were no leaks, nothing's ever come out before the show was finished.
And you got Nicholas out here who's from the Borat films. I mean, you're the pro in keeping things a secret.
For the most part, yeah. But even with our, we have a couple of moments with a lot of background talent, and we have this big cookout in the 3rd episode where we have a couple hundred people come in, and they're coming in for the day, and then they're leaving us. They're not part of sort of the team that stays in the whole time. And there's a big process that we go into in terms of briefing them and how significant and important each and every one of them is, and they all have the power to destroy the show in one moment. If they start talking about their exhibit Gs or where the second AD is, or going 10-1, these are not things that normal people talk about. And they all have the capacity to destroy it, but we've been, again, really fortunate so far that these folks come in, immediately understand what it is that they need to do and the weight of it, and then I think that also inspires people to really give so much of themselves, and it's, again, been very lucky twice now that it hasn't all blown up in our face.
Are you already thinking of 3?
I mean, this took 3 years to make this season.
Really?
Yeah. So, I think we're just taking a breath right now and enjoying the fact that this is out in the world and we get to talk to people like you about it. So, I mean, no is the short answer. But maybe at some point, but not yet.
It's just, it's just the fact that, how upside down the world is. And when we have people like, Ronald and Anthony out there showing that there's still good people out there, you just can't get enough of it.
I hope so. It's truly one of the biggest joys of making the show is getting a little bit of that out into the world, and it's I'm happy to hear you say that. It's certainly what we're hoping to do.
And I don't want to diminish the job that we've done in picking these people. But I do think there's a lot more of these people out there in the world than sometimes we're led to believe based on what we see online and in the news. Like most people, when you give them the chance, will make great choices.
Well, I think in between time, you can do a dating show. You know how many women are looking for good men out there? We need your expertise. All right, that's all the time that we have for this time with
Thank you so much.
Company Retreat.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jake, Nicholas, and Todd for chatting with me. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.